So I thought I'd start this knowledge sharing session off by just kind of spotlighting a few existing knowledge hubs that are out there. So we can all kind of know what these communal gathering spaces are for sharing resources and finding out about other projects and other related events. Just to start us off, Susanna, many of you are familiar with this already, but for those who don't know, Susanna is the Sustainable Sanitation Alliance, which consists of both a kind of public-facing knowledge hub component and a forum where you can join as a member. Any organization is invited to join the forum or to join Susanna as a member. And there's a lot of different topics with active discussion, and there's a whole subtopic on resource recovery, and within that there's a thread on urine reuse or infiltration. So I just encourage folks to kind of share updates about the work that you're doing or questions here as a place to connect with others. Susanna also has a ongoing blog and several different working groups working on different aspects of sustainable sanitation transitions. And they also have several regional chapters, so you can join your local chapter and get more involved with others in your area. And they also have a project database that's one of the more comprehensive databases of both research projects and active implementation projects. And you can see the map here of all the pins of projects from around the world that they've collected here. You can submit your own project to their projects database, and you can also filter it by a variety of means, including language, setting or use type, and also the type of resource that is created about that project. So then to switch over to another hub, we have Agestabase, which was created, I think, in Sweden. That's has both a research library and a project database. So I encourage you all to go check out their Evidence Explorer. You can see here that you can search the research that they've compiled on source separation systems by a variety of kind of categories as well. You can search by source, so whether it's urine or feces or combined urine and poo, or other kinds of on-site sanitation systems. You can search research publications by the technology that the publication is about, by the product that that technology creates, by the end reuse application of that product, and also by what kind of target they were creating that product for. And then they also have a project database that similarly you can search by a lot of different filters. So it was originally created for in Sweden, but I think and this was a kind of time-based research project that created this resource, but perhaps they might expand to broader geographies in the future. But a really cool way to really precisely find different kinds of projects in Sweden. And then another kind of knowledge hub compiling a lot of kind of information fact sheets is the Sustainable Sanitation and Water Management Toolbox, which has a whole bunch of great kind of orientation materials for learning about various aspects of sustainable sanitation, including a whole theme on the water and nutrient cycle. And they have this compilation of fact sheets about reuse and discharge, urine fertilization, kind of the whole cycle along the way. And then on Tuesday, we heard about this amazing toolbox that Roseanne Wheelmaker and colleagues are working on creating. And I'll share actually a link to sign up for the release of this toolbox is in our virtual bulletin board. So if you check that out, you can learn about this, but it's currently in progress. But this is a compendium of guides and tools and strategies and technologies. So another really helpful place to go to learn about what tools are out there and what might you want to piece together to work for your context. And then we also have the Ocean Sewage Alliance, which has both some very concise kind of overviews of topics on the issue of ocean sewage pollution, including this overview on urine diversion as a potential strategy. So they have a compendium of summaries of the various aspects of the problem, opportunities for solutions, and some active areas of change making. So that's in their Knowledge Hub. And then they also have a comprehensive library that also compiles a lot of great fact sheets and white papers and case studies about folks working to make more sustainable sanitation solutions, including urine nutrient reclamation from around the world. So that's kind of my quick tour of hubs, a hub of hubs, if you will. And then just a final plug also that we're trying to compile similar events to the Rich Earth Summit on our summit website. So if you go to our summit website, there's a related events page that I shared about in our 10-year retrospective moment on Wednesday. But that's another place you can go to find similar gathering spaces to connect in real time with other folks working on this movement. So if you have an event that you would like to help get the word out about, specifically on sustainable sanitation and source separation systems, so urine source separation and other source separation systems, we would love to hear about it, and we can add it to that page to help connect others together. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Next up, we also want to hear from Michelle Reichman, who also has some existing knowledge hubs that we want to hear about as well. Oh, great. Are there any questions before we hand the mic over to Michelle about the hubs that Julia presented, or if there's other hubs out there that people already know about that are not represented there, we'd love to add those as well. So that can be both in the chat or of course here in person. We're also potentially waiting for him to get here. So we are a little ahead of schedule. I also want to encourage folks, we have a session coming up in just a moment after he speaks, where we're going to break out into groups and brainstorm what's missing. And so if you aren't familiar with what's already out there, you might want to start that session as a group perusing some of these websites, and we have a little potentially extra time. So it's good. I think we tend to want to recreate the wheel sometimes when maybe we don't really need to. And so if we can utilize the resources that are out there that folks have worked really hard on, and then build from there, I think that would be ideal. Are there any things that you didn't see on Julia's hub list so far that you want to add to the group knowledge? Yeah, go ahead. Come on up. Sorry. The folks here in the room really just want to talk from their seats, and then I don't want to have to repeat it. So that's what's happening.
That's fair. Should learn by now. The Holy Shit website, I feel like, is really good. From the film, a number of people have mentioned it, but I find that they have a lot of good resources on it.
Great, thank you. Julia, did you want to?
Just doing a couple things at the same time here. Here we go. So I thought I'd, for those of you who weren't here on Wednesday morning, I could just quickly share some of these other upcoming events or past events that might happen again next year that we also wanted to uplift as places that are kind of affiliated gathering spaces. Susanna, oops, making audio. Susanna hosts an annual meeting that's a really great place to learn about what's happening around the world on this front. There were some really great presentations this year about strategies for climate resilient sanitation, especially including some kind of high level thinking on how we can support more climate resilient sanitation systems. Our colleagues at the NICE Hub, which stands for Nutrients in a Circular Economy in Australia, organized this Circular Economy for Climate and Environment conference that includes a strong focus on urine diversion because that's a big part of NICE's research, which is very nice. And then the International Water Association is organizing a nutrient removal and recovery specialist conference from November 17th to 21st. So that's another space to learn about nutrient recycling from wastewater. Yeah. Yeah, do you want to come up?
Well, but people on screen kind of hear you.
Know whether there's like a critical mass of people actually thinking about recovery versus just removal.
So the question was whether there's a critical mass of people thinking about recovery versus removal. And I think this gets to, in the kind of bigger wastewater space, there's a lot of folks working on nutrient removal systems, but maybe less so on the recovery side of things. So folks, yeah.
My friend's gonna be presenting on emerging drugs.
Nancy Love says she has a student that's going to be presenting on urine-derived fertilizers at that upcoming IWA presentation, though recovery is kind of a minority of that specialist group.
You know, in the US, what is the average? About 11% of the nitrogen is from 2011 after decades of growing technology and maxing out where we are. So I'm not sure how much further we're going to go with folks.
Nancy says our current systems reclaim 11% of the nitrogen and 20-ish% of the phosphorus. And that's kind of how far we've gotten with the best of the best technologies for working with our combined wastewater systems. And that's about as far as we can get with combined human waste with dilute wastewaters and other contaminants. So really shifting the focus to source separation systems is kind of key. And recovery is key for unlocking recovery solutions. So then just to wrap up our tour of other events, we have World Toilet Day is a United Nations recognized observance of the need to uplift the global sanitation crisis, and there are events that happen all around the world on World Toilet Day, which is coming up this November 19th. So if you go to their website, maybe you can find an event near you, or maybe you can host your own World Toilet Day event. The Urban Soils Symposium is also coming up later this November, focusing on the metabolism of cities and soils. And a few of us will be there talking about urine recycling in cities and what that could look like. And then we have the 7th IWA Conference on Eco Technologies for Wastewater Treatment that will be next June in 2025.